Begin our practice here. So just go ahead and make your way up to the top of your mat. Take your time. Start to settle into the space. Maybe start with a few deep breaths. Just to begin that tuning in sensation, grounding, fully arriving. Perhaps a body scan of just from head to foot, just noticing how you feel at this moment. Aware of what parts of your body might need some attention in your practice today. And feel free to take moments in your practice to take care of yourself. Take care of those particular spots in the body. I'll be guiding you through a hip opening sequence. But for now, just standing in stillness or standing with some light movement, connecting with the breath. Just slow, steady breaths. But certainly breathing in a way where you can feel your breath as it moves through your body. Feel how it rises up to fill your lungs. And when you exhale, that engaged sensation in your center. Breathing so you can hear your breath, that ujjayi sound, that oceanic sound. These simple ways to bring you to this moment, to be fully aware, present. Just hold on to this connection. Let it guide you through your practice. And as we prepare our bodies to move, take 3 more deep breaths. That full inhalation to fill your lungs, a complete exhalation to connect to your center, the abdominal lock. I'm ready to add movement. Inhale and extend your arms overhead. A nice stretch as you reach up towards the ceiling. And exhale, we'll fold forward, hinging at the hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and really take your time as you fold. Maybe you'll touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes here. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins, your knees, and feel the full extension of the spine, like a flat tabletop. Then exhale, fold, and notice the natural rounding of the back body. Again, this can be a partial fold. You don't have to go all the way down. We're going to hold here for a few breaths, so just notice. Be aware of how this feels for you. Add movement if it feels right. Adjust the posture. Settle into it. Sink into it. A little circling of the arms or rotation through the shoulders. Maybe nodding yes, shaking your head no a few times. And ready to move, just another halfway lift. You'll inhale, slide your hands up the legs a bit, only rise up halfway, again forming that long tabletop. Keep a softness in the knees, firm connection to the floor with both feet, and energy moving through the crown of your head towards the front of the room, and your hips and tailbone moving to the back of the room. As you exhale, feel the core connection to hold you steady. And now we'll stand up all the way, shifting your weight into your heels, bend your knees like you're sitting, and rise up. Yes, reaching into the air, another nice stretch. And exhale, you can bring your hands to your heart or arms down to your side. And we'll just pause for a moment, return to the awareness of breath. And move when you're ready, another sun salute or half salute. We'll inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, fold forward, take your time. Modify as you need to. Inhale, rise up halfway. The crown of your head leads you forward. Exhale, back down we go. Still in motion as you shift your weight into your heels, bend your knees, and lifting up, then reaching up into the air all the way, nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart or arms down to your side. Very nice. Another pause here. Return to the sensation and sound of your breath. Good. Continue with our sun salutation. Moving when you're ready. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. And exhale, swan dive forward. Always moving at your own pace. When you're ready, inhale, rise up halfway. Feel the crown of your head lead you forward. Strong, straight spine. Exhale, let's go all the way down. Bend your knees enough so you can place your hands on your mat in front of you. Walk or step or even hop both feet back until you're in plank pose or high push-up position. We'll breathe in. In your exhale, bend your knees a little to send your hips up into the air. It's our shortcut to downward facing dog. Just settle in, making the adjustments with your feet, even your hands on your mat. To help you settle into the pose. As you arrive, you just might be in stillness for a moment, but then add movement as it feels good. Yeah, a little stretching for your calves and toes by pedaling the feet. Notice how this feels through the legs, your shins, your calves. Let your knees bend. Movement of your hips. Nice. When you're ready to move, another full breath in, filling up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in, good connection. Bend your knees so you can walk, step, or hop. Both feet return to the top of your mat. You'll be in forward fold. Inhale, extending through the spine, our halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Here's our weight shift into the heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Growing tall, reach high. This exhale will take chair pose. Utkatasana. Sitting back and down into the imaginary seat. We'll breathe in so we can continue our sequence. Exhale, diving out of your seat towards toes, releasing head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, rise up halfway, flat back. Exhale all the way back down to the floor. Hands to the mat, hop or step back into plank pose. Draw that strong straight line in the body. You can take that same shortcut to down dog here if you'd like, or with your exhale, bend your elbows, coming down to finish your push-up, Chaturanga Dandasana. Maybe here a nice low cobra for your back bend, or even upward facing dog. Nice. Then exhale onto your toes, sending hips into the air, downward facing dog. Again, arriving, making adjustments with feet and hands. Take a breath right there. Then we'll inhale, extend right leg up and back. Don't worry about the height, just the full extension of the leg. And the exhale will step to the top of the mat, landing near right hand with the right foot. Left heel will turn to the floor behind you. Shifting the weight back so we can hinge from hips and rise up. Reach into the air, both arms, warrior one. Exhale, we'll hinge and fold, make our way back down to the floor. Plant your hands, slide the right foot back, plank pose. Finishing the sequence as you'd like. Here's a variation of Chaturanga. You can bring knees to the floor first, then chest. Perhaps a low cobra for your back bend, just barely lifting the chest off the ground. And exhale, downward facing dog. You might push back to hands and knees first, tuck your toes, and then lift the hips into the air. And there's your downward facing. Other side, inhale, extend the left leg up, reaching back. And exhale as guide. Left foot to the top of the mat with a light landing. Right heel will turn to the floor, shifting the body weight back. Floating up, warrior one, both arms, yes. Exhale, folding forward, hands return to the earth, strong connection, slide left foot back, there's plank, and then finishing your sequence as you'd like. Any variation is nice here. Even taking that shortcut right away to downward facing dog where we'll all meet. We'll do a little floor work here, so let's bring the knees to the floor, kneeling down, sit back briefly in hero. So you can sit off to the side. We'll swing the legs around to the front, sit in the center of your mat, and then guide your way down onto your back, hug your knees in towards your body, add some movement here. Reconnect to the sensation of breath. Take a moment to circle the ankles just to get into the feet a little bit. Wiggle your toes, even flex the feet, point that a few times. And continue to hold on to your shins or knees and just take the legs wide like you're about to move into happy baby pose. Just taking the legs wide and just hold them open just like this. It's like a frog's legs here. Lightly flex the feet and just let that gentle, gradual lengthening and stretch sensation occur in the inner legs. Again, we're working with hip openers. This is a nice invitation to our hip opening sequences. Let's bring the knees together. We'll set the feet onto the floor, ready for our bridge pose. Now your feet and knees can be hip distance apart. Feel free to adjust that by taking the feet wider if that feels better. And when you're ready, inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, you can breathe out through the mouth, releasing the air from the belly. Then lift your hips up into the air. Moving into our bridge pose. As you're able, let's get the arms and shoulders underneath you. That might allow you to lift up and open up a bit more, kind of creating more of that back bend sensation, especially in the upper body. And to support the upper body that's lifting, you might use your arms. Bend your elbows so your arms are at 90 degrees, pressing down into the mat with the backs of the arms, and see if that helps to sustain the posture, lift you a little higher. A few more breaths and just be aware of the sensations. Lots of engagement here as well. One more breath. And to come out of the pose, we'll just wiggle the feet forward a little bit, making space in the low back. Extend both arms up into the air to release the shoulders, and then roll your way down to the ground. Soft landing. Extend your arms behind you, extend your legs out in front of you, and reach and stretch in these opposite directions. Good, let's hug both knees into chest. You can rock your way up to seated or roll to one side to press yourself up to seated as we make our way towards boat pose. A little core work here. Just want to maintain a lengthened spine, good strong breaths where the air lifts up and fills up the lungs. The exhale, which can be produced out through the mouth to engage your core. So you can be here with feet on the floor. You can even lift feet. You can hold on or free up the hands. But the main parts are extension through torso, breath filling up the lungs, engaged belly. We'll move from here, breathing in first. And our exhale, perhaps crossing legs, hands in front or even over to the side. And just swing the feet and legs back behind you, arriving in plank pose. Another nice, strong, straight line. And we'll take a shortcut into downward facing dog. Just soften the knees, lift the hips up into the air. Hold for a moment to arrive. Now, inhale, extend right leg up into the air. We're going to open this up. You'll bend your knee, bring your heel down towards your backside. A little lift of the knee towards the ceiling. You'll feel a little turn in the torso, mild twist, but a hip opener. Let's get more into that hip socket by drawing a big circle in the air with your right knee. Big circle in the air, maybe a couple times one direction, and maybe a couple times in the opposite direction. That circle just really getting into that leg socket for greater mobility and flexibility. You'll finish with that knee up. Inhale right there, then exhale to unwind and step right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel to the floor behind you. Find your center. Light hand so you can rise up. Here's our warrior one. And exhale, opening to a warrior two. Yeah. Make some adjustments with your feet. Nice grounding. Strong foundation, yes. And then side angle pose, reaching forward, angled upper body. Rotate the arms, reach down, reach up. Feel a nice opening up through the torso, but also a hip opener. So that pose we did on the floor, kind of that frog's legs position, just getting into the inner legs, a little bit of an introduction and getting you ready for perhaps even this pose. our side angle pose, getting into the inner right leg. Let's take a breath in. Exhale, we'll turn and fold, hands back down to the mat. Slide right foot back. Here's plank pose for a moment. Another shortcut from here to downward facing dog. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So an inhale to extend left leg up when you're ready. We'll bend and twist open. A little lift of the knee creates that twist or rotation in the torso. A bit of a hip opener. Then your circles, drawing a big circle in the air. Yes. Maybe a little bigger if you're able, if it feels okay in that hip socket. A couple times one direction, and then the other direction. There it is. I'm just finishing with the knee up, breathing in, and the exhale to unwind and stepping through for Warrior One. For your Warrior One setup, right heel to the floor, floating upward, reaching to the sky. Exhale, opening to the right side of the room for your Warrior Two. There's the adjustments with the feet to feel grounded, well supported underneath you. Following the left hand and arm forward, angled upper body, rotating the arms, reaching high, reaching low. Your left hand might touch the ground or a block or another prop, or stay up higher if that feels better. Just ensuring you feel quite opened, expansive in the heart space. Notice the hip opener. Deep breaths. And we'll take a breath in, preparing the body to move. Our exhale, so we can turn and fold. Hands down to the earth, sliding the left foot back, plank pose. You can take another shortcut to down dog, or come down if you'd like, chaturanga dandasana, going through a full vinyasa or flow. Moving into your back bend, perhaps up dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Pausing and downward facing for a moment. Then a nice full breath in, filling up your lungs. Exhale, walk, step or hop, both feet return to the top of the mat to your forward fold. Inhale, monkey pose, that's our extended spine or a halfway lift. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, coming up to standing, reaching into the air. And exhale, arms down to your side. Perfect. Take a moment, breath, check in with the body. All right. We get set up for our tree pose. And getting into tree pose as we work our way into it is a hip opener. There's that little action there. So we'll start with feet rooted into the earth, soft knees, and start shifting weight into your right foot. Press into the ground, feel tall up top. Inhale. Exhale, draw belly in. Ready for our floating of the left foot up into the air. Coming forward, then here's that door swinging open. That's the hip opener there. And then foot to the inner leg, either up high or low. Okay, whatever feels good at this moment. And on this side. And when you're ready, inhale. Yes, extend your arms up into the air. Feel that good lift. Even if your arms are out wide or bent, still feel like you are lifting. That's an inhale to help that lifting sensation. Exhaling to engage to help secure your pose. Focus is forward or actually slightly downward, might be a little easier and better. Let's keep the arms extended. We'll swing the left knee forward, closing the door, lifting the knee with the flexed foot a bit. Yes, now plant the foot into the ground, balanced on 2 feet, and arms can return down to your side. Yeah, another check-in, everything, neck and shoulders, hips, feet, toes. And after all that, just returning to your mountain pose, ready for the other side. Soft knees, weight shift into the left foot, press, tall upper body, inhale, exhale, draw it in through the belly. We'll float the right foot out, maybe a flex foot to keep the leg active. Here's swinging that door open for the hip opener, placing foot on the inner leg. Using the floor if you need to. Inhale, extending arms up into the sky, lifting, reaching, extending, using the in-breath to help with that extension. Exhaling, that hugging in sensations, not just the belly, but even arms feel like they're hugging towards center. Even the legs, that foot pressing lightly into the extended leg, leg into the foot. Keep arms extended. We'll swing that right knee forward, lifting the knee with the flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground. There's your balance. Arms return to your side. Shake all that out. Just going to keep things moving. Whenever you're ready, inhale, sweeping both arms up into the air. Exhale, return to chair pose, a high seat or a low seat. Breathe in. Exhale, diving out of your chair to forward fold. Lengthening through the spine, inhale. And the exhale to guide you all the way down to the earth. Plant the hands, hop or step back into plank pose. Come down if you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana. You can always switch it up or modify it as you'd like, going through your sequence. Just finishing in downward facing dog. Good. Once you're in down dog, no rush. And inhale to extend right leg up behind you. Another bend and twist open. We're going to move out of it right away. So unwind and step through. Right foot to the top of the mat. Warrior one set up. Plant that back heel. Find your center. Then float up like tree pose. Nice extension of the arms. Exhale, expand and open to warrior two. So the arms are reaching to either side of the room. Let's take a reversed warrior here. Right hand reaching up into the air. You might reach high, even slightly behind you, which creates that little bend in the torso. Beware of how this feels through the torso, your back and hips. Okay, like you're doing a cartwheel here, just into a side angle pose. So right hand down, left hand reaching up into the air. Even over your head a little bit with this left arm to extend and lengthen through the left side. Actually, it's creating, with these extensions of the arms, it's helping creating a little bit more space around the waist for the hips. Breathe in. Exhale, here's our turn. Fold, hands down to the mat. Back to plank pose. Finishing your sequence. Meeting in downward facing dog. From downward facing, inhale, extend left leg up and away, strong straight line. Bend and twist open for that hip opener. And we'll unwind it so you can step this left foot to the top of the mat. That's also good hip strengthening work to step through like that. Warrior one, rising up, good extension. Exhale, expand and open to your warrior two. Adjust your foundation as you need to. Let's reverse the warrior by taking left hand up into the air. It might be straight up, it might even be slightly forward if you don't want to create that bend in the torso. Just think about what is happening, that lengthening sensation through the left side, and then a little cartwheel to a side angle. So left hand down, right hand up, and even follow the right hand over your head to feel the extension down through the right side of the body. Paying close attention to the belt line, that extension and release potentially there. And a breath in. And our exhale to return to the earth with both hands, back to plank pose. Finish the sequence as you like, even modify it, or just that simple shortcut to down dog. Okay, we're returning to the floor here, so you can just kneel down, sit back briefly in hero, sit off to the side, swinging the legs around to the front. Roll down onto your back. Once again, just hug the knees into chest. A little movement here again. We're going to do bridge pose again, but slightly differently. Oh, you are going to set the feet back down onto the floor, and in this case, perhaps keep the feet and knees about hip distance apart. Just pause here for a moment. Keeping the right foot on the floor, we're going to pick up the left foot and cross this left ankle over right thigh. And let's see if we can get that left knee to point as best as you can over to the left side of the room. There's even like a pressing or pushing forward sensation in this pose. Now this right foot, at least for me, it is at my right hip, but I'm going to kind of heel toe my foot a little bit more towards center, so the heel feels like it's directly in front of the tailbone. Because from here, with an exhale, you're going to lift both hips straight up into the air. So we're in bridge pose with this leg crossed, but we need that balance. It's almost like a three-legged table, so we have to make sure that third leg is in the right spot. Otherwise, the table will tip over. You can still use your arms. Bend your elbows, press down into the floor to help lift and support the upper body. Now, the other action here, as best as you can, the left knee, that leg that's crossed, the left knee is trying to press down towards the floor, but at the same time, try to lift the left hip up towards the ceiling. So the same side, but moving in opposite directions. Left knee going down, left hip going up. And that'll be that stretch. Now we'll re-extend or extend the left leg up into the air like you're going to kick the ceiling. Bend the knee, set the foot on the floor, and then come all the way down to the floor, the whole body. Go ahead and extend here too. So it's a lot of work, a lot of engagement in holding that position. It's a little more challenge in that bridge pose. We're adding that hip opener. Let's hug both knees into chest. And we'll do the other side. So we'll set the feet down, knees and feet about hip distance apart. Now the left foot's going to stay on the floor. You might even already start to heel toe it a little bit more towards center for the third leg of that table. We'll pick up the right foot, cross right ankle over left thigh. Even flex the right foot, the right knee pointing as best as you can towards the right side of the room. Your next exhale, let's float both hips up into the air. Let's get the arms in place, maybe getting the shoulder blades underneath you a little bit, bend the elbows, use the backs of your arms to press down to lift up. Now notice if the right side is sinking to the ground. Now it's okay if the knee is going down, but we want the hip to lift up, trying to align the hips, but still open the hips at the same time. That's why that knee is going down, hip is going up. We're going to extend that right leg up into the air, kick the ceiling, bend the knee, set the foot onto the floor, come all the way down. Stretch it all out. Lengthen, breaths, very engaging. Once again, let's draw both knees into chest. We're going to work our way to boat. You can roll to one side and lift, or rock your way up. Finding Navasana, boat pose. Nicely extended spine, shoulders down and back, nice long neck. Breathing. Energized feet perhaps, that just keeps the legs strong. And here we are in motion. Breathe in, exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back. Plank pose, strong straight line. Just take a shortcut to down dog. Now inhale, extend right leg up into the air, right foot to the top of the mat. We're going to high lunge. So the left heel will remain lifted, all 10 toes are pointing forward. We still need to find our center so we can easily float the hands and arms up into the air. Just like tree pose, there's a lifting up sensation, but because we're in a lunge, there's a sinking sensation. So getting into the hips, but more of this left hip flexor. Keep this action of really reaching up, like you're just going to go all the way up, but you're going to actually bend both knees, bring the left knee all the way down to the floor. Just pause here for a moment. Even flatten that foot back there. Just for a moment. Still reaching up high. And there's even a sensation, even though you're on that one knee, like you're squeezing the legs to center. So there's an engagement here, yeah? Keep that engagement because we're going to come right back up. Tuck those toes behind you. Hug to center. Exhale. There it is. Press and lift. Back to the lunge, opening here to a warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Right hand up. Little cartwheel to a side angle. Right hand down. Left hand up, maybe overhead for the side body stretch. And then a turn. Hands to the floor. We're going to go back to a down dog. Extend right leg up in the air behind you. Bend and twist. Let's add a pigeon pose. So as we unwind, we're going to set the right knee onto the floor. Angle this leg in a way that's appropriate and feels good. You can even come down onto your back and do the reclining pigeon if that feels better. Use your left knee and toes to center the body, but it also deepens the sensation. Once you're here, we breathe in to find some extension through the torso. Exhale, perhaps crawl forward, which draws you downward. It's still a working pose, but there's also, of course, a relaxation quality here. So you can just kind of settle into the position and just let the workings happen. Continuing that left hip flexor lengthening in this case. That lunge was more of a dynamic activation. Here we've got extension and stretch. The right leg, inner leg, outer hip perhaps, and glutes. Good. As we hold this for a few more moments, you can just hold, sink, really kind of dive deep into the sensation. Also appropriate to add a little movement as if you're doing a gentle massage in these areas that are most affected. Let's take 3 more breaths, longer or more breaths if you want to stay here a little longer, which is fine. But eventually, slowly making your way up, just up onto your hands perhaps. We're going to sit way off to the right side. You can bring your hands over to the right so you can sit off to the right. We're going to bring the left leg around to the front, come to a cobbler's pose or bound angle. So the feet are together here. You might adjust your seat here. Just for initial hip opener, I just have the hands on the floor just to help lift myself up. Long torso, and as the torso is extending and lifting, it's kind of lifting up out of the pelvic bowl, which might allow the hips to fall open. If you're more heavy in the seat like I am right now, not using the hands, you kind of drop and you lose some of that mobility or space. So even just this little action creates a little bit more space. Alrighty, carefully, we're going to roll down onto the back. Bring the knees together. You might even hug the knees in. Set feet onto the floor. We'll keep left foot on the floor here. Pick up right foot, cross right over left. Going back to that three-legged three-legged table or bridge pose. Lifting the hips. Still working that right leg just like we did in pigeon. So lifting hips so they're even and aligned. Right knee gently pressing towards the floor. We're not going to hold here as long. Extend the right leg up into the air, kick the ceiling, foot to the floor, bridge, come all the way down. Extend the entire body, opposite directions. Hug knees in, boat pose. Breathing in, still in motion. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose, or hands to the side, swinging the feet back behind you. Plank, and then shortcut to down dog. Then the other side. Inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Left foot to the top of the mat, going to our high lunge. So right heel stays lifted. Find your center. All 10 toes pointing forward. Same dynamic. Once we're up, reaching up, lunging low, already feeling that lengthening quality in that right hip flexor, keeping that action of rising upward as we bend the knees, setting the right knee down. You can keep the foot flexed back there, toes flexed, or flatten the foot. Keep reaching, hug to center. It's the arms, belly, and the legs, so the legs still feel engaged here. Because that's what's going to help you come back up. Okay, let's go for it. Tuck the toes. Exhale, squeeze and press and lift. Here's our opening to a warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Quick cartwheel to a side angle, left hand down, right hand up and overhead, right side body stretch. Breathe in. Exhale, turn, fold, hands to the floor. Back to a down dog. We're sweeping the left foot back and up into the air. Bend and twist. Pigeon, left knee to the floor, behind the wrist, angle the leg. Use the alternatives here, perhaps lying on your back for the reclining pigeon alternative. Crawl the right leg back, sinking into the pose. Extend through the torso, send your heart forward as you come down, perhaps to your forearms, maybe even your forehead comes down to the ground. Settle in. Continue with your body assessments. Continue with your deep breathing. Settling into the pose. Adding gentle movements if you'd like. Noticing how the body is responding. We'll take 3 more breaths, or more breaths if you want to spend more time in this position. When you're ready to move, we're slowly rising up onto the hands. Just lifting the torso a bit. We'll sit off to the left side, way off to the left. So we can bring the right leg around to the front. Back to our cobbler's pose or bound angle. Adjusting your seat. Same thing, just notice if you're just here with your hands free, just notice your posture and what it feels like. What's happening in the back, your hips, and then feel the change perhaps when you press into the floor to help extend through the torso. Because I know I can really feel how the legs just drop open a little bit more naturally here. And then we'll soften. We're going to roll down onto our backs again, carefully. You can hug the knees in, then set the feet down, perhaps a little closer together, or feet and knees hip distance apart. We're keeping, let's see, right foot on the floor. We're crossing left ankle over right thigh. Flex that left foot, knee pointing to the side of the room. We're setting up for our little table here, a 3-legged table. And exhale, lifting hips. See if they can lift up at the same time, evenly together, even with that left leg crossed, because it's more weight on that side, so you have to adjust accordingly so they do lift at the same time. Use your arms for a little extra support of the upper body as you're lifting. Now let's go ahead and extend that left leg up into the air, kick the ceiling, and left foot to the floor. Lower your way down gently and extend the arms and legs. Let's hug both knees into chest, make our way back to boat pose, even if that means rolling to one side, and press to lift up. Boat can still be here, or any iteration. Let's keep it moving. Breathe in like you're floating up off the ground. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back into plank pose. We'll come down this time, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Feel that nice extension of spine and down dog. Relax the neck. Nice full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Return to your forward fold. We'll take monkey pose. Exhale, fold. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. All the way up we go, reach high. Exhale, arms to your side. All righty, good. Shake things out as you need to. All right, more hip openers. We're going to do that cross-legged chair pose, similar to that three-legged table pose to get into the hips, okay? This is how we'll get into it. So again, mountain pose, soft knees. Start shifting weight into a right foot. Okay, we're going to pick up the left foot, flexed foot here. You're going to kick the imaginary soccer ball, okay? Okay, get that winning goal, U.S. against Iran. Cross ankle over thigh, press or sit here, okay? Now check in with your hips. You might even place your hands on your hips. So this is another working of the hip alignment, just as you did in that little bridge pose. You know, were you able to keep your hips aligned? Because that might help with balance. Left knee is pointing to the left side of the room. The left foot's flexed. And if it feels good and you want to, maybe sit back and down a little deeper, bringing your heart perhaps closer towards this crossed leg as it feels good. You might even free up the hands and reach towards the floor. Choose the depth of the posture. Check in with sensation. Okay, now we are going to come back up and see if we can transition this to a tree pose. As we grow tall, uncross the leg, arms into the air, lifting knee, flexed foot. We're going to open that door, knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. You can use your hands if you need to, or ground your feet if you need to. Lift, expand, and open. Arms stay extended. We'll swing left knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot, plant the foot, balanced on 2 feet, arms to your side, walk it out. All right, whenever you're ready, no rush. So always want to start in that kind of settled mountain pose. Soft knees, we're shifting weight into left foot. Root, we're picking up the right foot. Kick the soccer ball, cross ankle over thigh, maybe hands on hips, so you can feel the aligned hips sit back and down, again to your personal depth. This could be the end of the pose. You might even place hands on this leg here, or maybe you're taking this towards a fold, which will certainly create more sensation, even a little bit more of a challenge for the balance. There's some core work involved. If you're a little higher up, as I am, you might even practice extending through the spine. Experience the hip opener in our cross-legged chair pose. All right, we're going to make our way back up. Okay, coming all the way up, reaching into the air. We're uncrossing the leg, lifting the knee with the flexed foot. Ready for tree. We're swinging the knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. Lift. Keeping the arms extended, swinging right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot, plant it, balanced, arms back down. Release it. There we are. Okay, keep shaking it out. This is the transition that we'll make. We're going to start the sequence with that cross-legged chair pose. We'll set up the same way. We'll probably have hands on hips, but I might even have you extend your arms in the chair. We're going to get out of the chair, lift up, bypass tree. We're just going to skip that, but step back into this lunge. Once we're in the lunge, we're going to do this little elevator down, tap, and come right back up, and continue the flow from there. Okay? So let's just take a few moments, settle in, mountain pose, find your breath. Feeling tall, but there is a softness in the knees. We're shifting weight into the right foot. Feel long in the spine, core connected, so we can pick up the left foot, kick the soccer ball, cross ankle over thigh. You can bring hands to hips just to feel the aligned hips as you take the seat. You don't have to go too deeply. Then free up the hands, extend the arms. Okay. We found it there. We're going to come right up and out of the pose. Up into the air, uncross the leg, lifting knee, flexed foot. Maybe hinge forward, extend that left leg back, bend that right knee to a nice lunge so you can land on your toes behind you. Here's our high lunge. Keep reaching high as we take the elevator down. A little tap of the left knee. Come right back up. Open warrior two. Reverse your warrior, reaching into the air. Mini cartwheel to a side angle. Right hand down, left hand up and overhead, side body stretch. You've got it. Breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Down dog, sweep right foot back and up into the air, bend and twist. We're going right away to pigeon. Right knee to the floor behind the wrist. We're going to take the left leg back. Now we are going to go down, but we're going to come right back up, okay? So just find your depth of the pose, extend the torso, come down maybe for a breath, maybe two, because we're going to move right away. Just settle into it, take advantage of this short moment, then rise up onto the hands, shift over to right side so we can bring this left leg around to the front. Settle yourself in the center here. Now we can do what you did earlier for the cobbler's pose. Just press hands into the floor to lift torso and let the hips open. Making this a little bit more dynamic if you want. Maybe hands more behind you. Press into the floor. Shoulders roll back. Lift chin and chest. Press into the floor to actually lift the hips up off the floor. You can even send the pelvis down towards the heels. This just deepens the sensation. Maybe create more of a back bend. These are optional. Okay, we're going to come back down, settle. We're going to roll down onto the back. roll onto your back, knees to chest. Set the feet onto the floor. Here comes that tabletop. Keep left foot on the floor. Cross right over left. Flex the foot. Find the evenness in the hips. Take your time so you can rise up. Lift. Feel what's happening in the hips. Uncross the leg, kick the ceiling, bend the knee, plant the foot, come on down, extend. This is all the same. Hugging both knees in, boat pose. You go right up into the boat. Breathe in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. As you're able, hop or step back, plank pose. Come down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Completing the series here. Here's our up dog and downward facing dog. Once in down dog, breathe in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Extend through the spine. Fold again. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up, reach into the air. Exhale, arms to your side. That's our sequence. So we'll just take a moment. Nice. Starting with our cross-legged chair pose, soft knees, shifting weight into left foot, picking up the right, kick the soccer ball, cross, sit, maybe hands on hips initially. We'll extend the arms. Okay, we're going to rise up, uncross the leg, lifting knee, flexed foot, tip forward, bend the left knee, step that right foot back, land on your toes for a high lunge. Reaching high, lunge low, bend the knee, tap the knee on the floor, come right back up, get that nice stretch. Opening warrior two, that's a hip opener with that outer rotation. Here's our reversed warrior, side angle. Left hand down, right hand up into the air. Overhead for the side body stretch. Breathing in. And our exhale to turn, fold, hands to the floor, sweep left foot back and up into the air, down dog, bend and twist, pigeon on the left side, left knee onto the floor, right knee on the floor, find your center. Again, we're not going to be here too long, but do settle in, take advantage, sink into it. All right, right away, coming right back up onto the hands, sitting off to the left side. We'll swing that right leg around to the front, cobbler's pose, adjust your seat. Those options available to you here, or that little back bend version. Okay, Maybe lifting the hips, sending pelvis down towards the heels. Really tipping the head back if that feels okay on the neck. Feel that nice release and opening. And then return to the seat. Knees to get a little rounding of the back so you can roll down onto your back. Hug the knees in quickly. Set the feet down. Keeping right foot on the floor, crossing left over right. And then lifting hips, even hips lifting into the sky. Use your arms, shoulders underneath you. Nice hip opener there. Here in this active position, let's kick the sky. And set the foot onto the floor. Melt your way down. Extend the opposite directions. Hug both knees into chest. Boat pose. Okay, breathing in, lift. Exhale, just set the feet on the floor. Just cross the legs here. Okay, just treat this like a mountain pose, perhaps. Just a way to kind of come back to regular breathing, a little resting moment after that dynamic flow. Nice. When you feel ready, we are going to lie back down. Just take your time. Just guiding your way back down onto your back. Hug the knees into chest. Let's take the hip opener again. That could be the frog's legs. Okay, just taking the legs wide, or even happy baby pose. This could even be reclining cobbler's pose. Any hip opener right here. Couple more breaths. When you feel complete with your hip openers here, just bring the legs together, another hug of the knees in. We'll take a twist. We'll start by taking the knees over to the left side. Extend your right arm to the right side. Even extending the arm is an option. You can even just rest the arm down by your side if that feels a little odd on the shoulder or even in your back or hips. Even choose how you want to position the legs. You can certainly do the windshield wiper twist where the legs are kind of separated, or eagle's legs where you have one crossed over the other. Whatever's going to feel good for your hips, your back, even your shoulders. Take the time that you need on this first side. After a couple more breaths, perhaps, or when you're ready, return to center, certainly no rush, and then just guide your way into the other side. And maybe it feels a little different, or you do something different. And again, when you feel complete, make your way back to center, another hug of the knees in towards your body. From here, decide what you would like to do next. You've done a lot already, but if you feel complete with your moving practice, go ahead and make your way to Shavasana, or if you want to add any other movements that we have not done together, or you want to repeat anything, go ahead and add those here. Yeah, there might be an inverted posture, another back bend, another rotation or hip opener, whatever you need, whatever you would like to do. Just being sure you give yourself some good quality time in Shavasana or any other restorative position. Return to the awareness of your breath. And take 5 slow, deep breaths. As you're breathing here, feel movement return to your body. When you feel ready to move, take your time and roll onto one side of your body. A brief pause in this nurturing pose. And then eventually guiding your way up to seated. And once you are in your seat, just feel that re-extension of your spine, sitting tall and proud. Your hands can just rest in your lap or on your legs. We'll bring hands to heart center. We'll take one more full breath in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.